Welcome to Woodcraft Folk Storytime with me, Rundoodle. Today I'm going to tell you the story of nail soup. A long time ago, a soldier was walking through a wood on his way home from the wars. He was tired, he was hungry, he was thirsty. It was getting on for evening time and he was thinking, I really need somewhere to sleep, somewhere to eat, somewhere to lay my weary head. And then he saw a cottage through the woods. He went up to the door and knocked on the door. And an old lady came to the door and said, "Hello, what can I do for you?" "Hello," said the soldier. "I wonder if you could put me up for the night and give me a bite to eat." "Well," said the lady who lived there. "Well," she said, "yes, I can give you a bed, but I haven't got any food, I'm afraid, nothing to feed you with at all." "Oh, don't worry," said the soldier. "I'm sure we can think of something." He went into the house. She showed him where he would sleep. And then he reached into his pocket and he produced an old rusty nail, a little bit like this one. Put it down on the table. "Well, old lady," he said, "I'm going to make you the best soup you've ever had. I'm going to make you some nail soup." "Nail soup?" said the lady. "Nail soup? What's that then?" "Just watch," he said. "Just watch and learn. First of all, we need a cauldron of water boiling on your fire right there." And so the old lady brought a cauldron and she filled it full of water and she set it on the fire and she kindled a fire underneath. And within 10 minutes it was boiling. And the soldier said, "Right, see this nail?" And he chucked it into the cauldron and it bubbled and bubbled and bubbled. Said the soldier. That's beginning to smell really good, don't you think?" And the old lady said, "Well, I'm not so sure myself." And the soldier said, "But you know what? You know what would make it smell even better? You know what would make that soup taste even better? Was if we had a little old onion, just an old, wrinkled old onion. Chop it up and put it in there." "Well," said the old lady, "well, I might just have an old onion in the back of the cupboard. I'm going to go and have a look." So she went off into the cupboard and she came out with not one but two onions, and they weren't even that wrinkly, you know. And so they chopped them up and they chucked them into the cauldron and they bubbled and bubbled and the smell started to smell like it was really actually something quite nice. Said the soldier. Said the old lady. "Now," said the soldier, "that's beginning to smell really good, but do you know what would make it smell even better?" "No," said the old lady. "What would make it smell even better?" "Well," he said, "if we had just a potato, just one wrinkly old potato with things growing out of it, I bet that would make that soup taste even better still." "Well," said the old lady, "I might go and ask my neighbour. He often has a potato or two about the place. You just stay there, my love, and I'll come back in a minute with a potato." Off she went. 5 minutes later, she came back in, not one but two beautiful brown potatoes with nothing growing out of them at all. And also, the neighbour, he came in too. And they sat down and the soldier, he chopped up the potatoes and he threw them into the cauldron. And then the smell through the kitchen started to be really nice. And a few minutes later, the soldier, he said, "Well," he said, "that's smelling really nice, don't you think?" And they said, oh yes, that's smelling really nice." "What would make it even smell better?" said the soldier. "Even better? A few herbs, just a little bit of parsley or some dill or anything like that you might have around the place." "Oh, well," said the old lady, "herbs, I can get you herbs." And she popped outside with her little scissors and she came back in a few minutes later and there she had lavender and she had bay leaves and she had dill and she had marjoram and she had some wonderful looking herbs that the soldier had never even seen before. And they chopped them up and they threw them into the cauldron and that smell, it was sweet and it was aromatic and it was starting to smell really, really good. And a few minutes later, the soldier stirred the pot and then he said, "Do you know what would make this perfect?" And the old lady said, "No, what would make it perfect?" And he said, "Well, just a little tiny bit of bacon. Just a tiny weeny bit of bacon would make it absolutely perfect." And the old lady said, "I ain't got any bacon." "You got any bacon?" And the neighbour said, "No, I ain't got any bacon either." But you know what, said the old lady, I reckon my cousin who lives up at the top of the hill might have a little tiny bit of bacon. You stay there, my love, and I will go and fetch him and I'll go and see if he's got any bacon. And so she ran off up the door, up the hill, and 10 minutes later she came back with quite a substantial bit of bacon with a thick layer of fat around the outside. And also the cousin and the cousin's family, and they all sat on the bench and they watched as the soldier chopped up the bacon into little bits and threw it into the cauldron. And then the smell, the smell started to smell really good. And the fat started to break down and all the ingredients started to mix together, and you could just pick out the smell of some of those herbs on top. And all the people who were sitting there on the bench were kind of shifting around and smiling at each other and rubbing their hands together in glee. And then the soldier said, "The soup is nearly ready. All it needs is a pinch of salt and a loaf of bread." And the old lady said, "Pinch of salt, there you are." And she threw it into the cauldron. "Loaf of bread," she said. "I know where I can get a loaf of bread. My friend Bill, who lives up near the church, I bet you he's been baking today." And she ran out the door up to Bill's house, and she came back in a few minutes later, and there was Bill. And Bill had a cloth, and he opened the cloth, and inside was this beautiful 2-pound cottage loaf, round and brown and still warm from the oven. And they cut up the cottage loaf and they ladled the soup out into bowls and into cups and into old mugs and everything they had, and everybody there, and there was now about 9 or 10 of them, they they tasted the soap and the soup, and they said ooh and ah and they finished the soup and they mopped it up with their breads, and they, "Oh yes," they said, "that was really the best soup ever." Nail soup, we should remember how to make nail soup. And the soldier said, "Yes, you also need to remember how to sing the song." "The song?" they said. "Yes," said the soldier, and it goes like this. Nail soup, feed your whole group with nail soup. Chuck an old bale into a pail, you could feed the whole family on nail soup. And just before he left, the soldier, he reached into the pot and he took out the nail and he put it in his pocket for the next time. And that is the story of nail soup.